course, everybody have seen the renewed hope and shared prosperity vision of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and how it is impacting on sports. And what we have been able to do in spite of the challenges, in spite of the fact that we have to take it one step at a time. The last 1 year, everybody can feel the progress and feel that the direction probably is the right one. So what we need is more collaboration, more cooperation from all parties, and more belief and trust in the system. We have just concluded successfully, I believe, the federation elections, which was a clear departure from the past of what we see before when we come to federation elections, where you see divergent views and the people dragging the federation. At the end of the day, it is the entire sports structure and the sector itself and the ecosystem will be damaged so much that it will take another 4 years working to see how it can be repaired. At least now we have a similar system. Everybody agrees that we have to go together to do that. But of recent, though we are used to it, but something just came up, which has been really, really terrible for our sports. And I think media are responsible to be the gatekeepers to protect this industry. If this ecosystem and the industry is all succeed. If it fails, we all fail. The media have no work to do. We have seen, I want to take us to this recent, what is it? NFF issue, KB issue, and stuff like that. That from nowhere. Some people for personal reason went and retwisted a story or something that has created a narrative. And now with the social media, people now have runs with it. And some people are now lending their platforms to that narrative, even though they know the facts. Even though, for example, that particular project being in question has a clear footprint on the internet. Just for you to Google KB FIFA project and everybody will see whatever is there. And you can be able to make a judgment. Now people have taken it to the next level. Some have gone to carry a stadium from Kenya that was built by government, costing almost $30–40 million, and comparing it with a stadium that is just a community stadium that FIFA have delivered for people and trying to bring down the country. And of course, some of our politicians who are not really into the industry have run with that narrative for political reasons and even insulting the current government of the country. They have nothing to do with that because that project was even commissioned before the last elections that put the government in place to do that. And we all know the facts. But for a recap, because I'm part of it, I need to say it here so that we can run ahead and protect this industry. Doesn't mean if you see a wrongdoing, we will not speak about it. But for the interest of sport, we have to make sure that we get the facts and balance the story. Now, that project, and some of us are here, they were in that Congress. It was approved in 2015 at the NFF Congress that was held at the Hilton Hotel here in Abuja. Some of us were here. We played a football match after the Congress here at the National Stadium. We all covered it. That is when the NFF decided to do those developmental projects, KB and Delta. 2016, the process started and the procurement process started, and it was being procured at the rate of 2016. What is the dollar rate in 2016? If you have $1.2 million in 2016, it will not give you up to 300 million. That is a fact. And procurement was done over the period. There were delays because of statute documents have to be perfect and everything. The project was not started until 2020. The governor of the state laid the foundation laying ceremony. It is all in the media. Who is the current Minister of Budget and planning the country today. At 2020, if you convert $1.2 million, it's still less than 400 million naira at the official rates. But that's what FIFA use. These monies are paid to CBN. CBN change into naira and pay the contractor who is there. So this project was delivered in 2022, was officially commissioned by FIFA in 2023. FIFA was so happy with it because the specs that was agreed to be done on the phase one That was what was done. They came with the media team from abroad. Up to today, it's on the YouTube, it's on their website, how they celebrated that project and they were happy about it. Some of the people sitting here in this hall were the ones that arranged that media process to put it up. They're here. And they know the facts. And they are ready to speak to it at the right appropriate time to do that. So something that was closed in 2023 was done. How could somebody just bring it out in 2025 and say, oh, see what the NFL built? $1.2 million. It's $1.2 million of today. It's $1.2 million from 2016, 2020. That's a 400 million. How much is it to put a synthetic pitch? Even as at that time, for the whole, it's more than 300 million. As at that time, because the pitch that you see there has to be work on the ground, there has to be drainage, there has to be channels and everything to do it. So everything was done perfectly okay as far as the space of that project was done. And even the awarding of the contract, if you go to the website of the NigerianProcurement.com, that is the BPP project, that project was advertised for all people that want to be part of it to come and be part of it. People be there, and it is entirely a FIFA business. The Football Federation business in that project to bring the land. FIFA appointed a consultant, FIFA do the analysis, FIFA pay the consultant, FIFA accept the project, whatever it is. So if you go and check the procurement process that was published, that was exactly the spec of what needs to be done based on the money available at that time. And it was done. And they were happy about it. They did a video with the girls, with the boys playing. And that is the reason why they moved to the next level. The project is not done the right way. The one that we are doing, the people is doing inside this stadium at the moment, which we launched this year, the Forward 3.0 will not go ahead. The first project has to be cleared, has to be perfect, has to be certified before the next one will go ahead. And many people here knew that I was the first person in Nigeria to do the FIFA Go project, 2004. So I can speak to it. That's why I'm speaking to it here. People should know that it's not NFL that will collect the money and go and pay the contractor or whatever. FIFA do everything directly and make sure everything is done. But now some people think they are fighting the NFL, right? But we are fighting all our sports. Because those news that is misleading, that is being put, oh, they messed up, oh, the money, oh, this, all the media houses are taking it. I want to see any federation president that will go to anywhere to market sports and say he wants to get money to do his. If football is that bad, then what is the other smaller sports? It's rob over everybody. Rob on us, rob on the sports commission, on the federations and everybody, so the system will stay where it is, only relying on government resources to come and support it. That's a process. We see European Union, all the donor agencies every day giving all kinds of monies to federations, to the states, to the government, to the NGOs. I haven't seen anybody waking up to say, oh, they should go and audit European Union money, they should go and do this one. Why? Because they have their systems. If they give you money and you don't do it the right way, they are the ones to challenge you. The day FIFA wake up and say, this money we gave is not okay, we want to challenge what they know what to do. And if they do that, then all of us will have to jump into it and make sure whoever is capable will do it. But FIFA have not complained to anybody. CAF have not complained to anybody. Now I've seen people everywhere. Only CAF, FIFA money, CAF, FIFA money, CAF, FIFA money. The people that have the money, they will do the process. And for our education, I want to tell us here, there's a dedicated account at the CBN that received FIFA monies, that receives CAF money. Only for their money goes there. Because we have the TSA. NFL are not allowed to open a private bank account, it has to be CBN. So those accounts are at the CBN, and only FIFA money goes to their accounts. Every year FIFA comes in and certified and audit the account and whatever. And I can tell you, if your audited account for every federation is not certified at the end of the year by the auditors and everything, they won't receive any money again going forward. Suspension will come, investigation will happen, and if they want, they ban the people, they can report them to the agencies and everything. So why don't we link the process to deal with itself? The system, and run down the system. And now we have seen even some of our legislators who have no background on the issues because the public are talking about it and they want to place the narrative and go and speak at the National Assembly and mislead the people and what I've seen all kinds of stories. National Assembly to do this. No, they didn't do it. If you go and get the video of that issue, those that are there, no. The whole house said no. There's nothing we could do about this. Let the sports committee engage the stakeholders and come back to us with the report. So there's nothing like that. But that's this thing. And now the people who want to contest election, who want to bring down the system, have jumped into it, ruining the system. So in conclusion, what am I saying? We are the gatekeepers here. We are all family. And we have to make sure it's not about writing the headline that is sensational. That might give you some clicks for the day, or might give you some revenues to send the paper for the day. The long-term effect, all the money you receive, you eat it, and you get more, because no you get the system to get it done. So this really my take about this, and we have to work together. The DG is open always. My doors are always open always. Anything that you hear about that, speak to the authorities and get a proper clarification and balance your thoughts before you jump into conclusion. We have run down our sports system for many years, and it's not taking us anywhere. Now, I'm sure DG has been crying for the past 2 days because we were supposed to have a meeting with some people who are putting money on the school sports, putting money even on the Super Eagles and what have you, and all this is now have taken over the airwaves. Where do you start? And honestly, everybody wants to qualify to the World Cup. Is it at this moment when we have a critical player or qualifier that we try to damage the NFF? We'll have our issues with the NFF. But that is material about it. What is the objective of Nigeria? We want to get our players the same mindset, to go to the playoffs and work. And now we are creating these issues. If there's any investigation by the agencies, they will do their work. At the end of the day, whoever is found culpable will be dealt with according to the law. It shouldn't be a news for us. All the media and the world, I don't see them dwelling on this kind of news. They have their issues. They allow the system to do the way it should be dealt with. So, we have to rethink the way we do these things. We have to protect this industry more than anybody else. Because we say you are Sports Writers Association. That's your job. Sports writers. Reporting politics. You can't go tomorrow and start reporting the maritime. You can't sporting law. It's what you want to do. Some of us have been here for 30 years together. Because that is what you choose to do. It's not because they force you to do it. So protect this industry and promote it positively to get it to work. I thank you most sincerely for coming, and it's my pleasure and honor, and apologies for digressing. I declare the event open, and I hope this will be a great.
Can we clap more, please? Clap for the chairman of the NS. Malam Shehu Diko settings the records straight, and special there to we, the journalists, to avoid sensationalism and join in saying that we all remain very objective and key to the journalists. I don't know how many decades now, but I know it's more than 6 decades. May Nasara Ilu. Please put your hands together in a great fashion. You're welcome. Thank you for joining us on a day like this. Thank you indeed for joining us. I'd like to invite straight on for the presentation of papers, the DG of the NIS, Comrade Philip Schreiber, coming to stand on the podium here where I'm standing to deliver a special paper for us.
Thank you very much. Good morning, all. Good morning, all.
Good morning.
Okay. I thought I was the only one here. The chairman of the National Sport Commission, Malam Shehu Diko, the Director General, National Sport Commission, the Swan President, my sister representing the wife of the uncommon Senator and Senate President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Mrs. Gospel Opagio, all Federation Presidents and guests of this occasion, I greet you this morning. My name remains Comrade Shaibu Philip. I have been asked to speak on a topic, political will, maybe because I'm a politician, I don't know. But I will start to say that political will is needed in every aspect of life, especially in a democratic setting. We run a democratic system now, and hence we need strong political will to carry out a lot of things. Courage, political will, when you match all of them, both can be defined differently, but we need the two to be able to achieve success. So it's with great pleasure that I first congratulate the Swan for celebrating 60 years. They are just 10 years senior to NIS. They were 1964, then NIS 1974. I want to underscore the concept of political will. I will start with that. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, political will is more than a puzzle in governance circle. It represents the genuine commitment of political leaders and decision makers to pursue specific policies and actions. Particularly those that may be challenging but necessary for long-term national development. I decided to take 3 critical dimensions to this, which will resonate with what we have today. The first one is vision and commitment. The ability to conceptualize a better future and the unwavering dedication to pursue vision despite obstacles. The second one I looked at is courage to implement difficult reforms. And you know, when it comes to courage to implement difficult reforms, reforms really can be painful, difficult, but it takes a leader of vision, a leader that believes that it's not your duty as a leader to lament, but it's your duty as a leader to find solution to the problem that is facing those that you are leading, whether it is painful or not. But most time, decisions that in the long run can be of benefit to the people might not be seen by the people. But it takes that courage and that political will to be able to carry it out. And when it's carried out, everybody, that courage now comes in. Everybody may criticize you, do everything that they want to do, castigate you. The ability to sustain it, that is where the political will comes in. Because you are seeing what the leadership, those you are leading is not saying, and you are seeing where it's taking us to. So that strong will that you have to be able to insist but carry out those reforms to the latter, it's what makes the difference in leadership. For instance, some may not agree with me, but on the 29th of May, 2023, so a president was being sworn in, and he made one statement that some Nigerians up to now still feel otherwise. But many presidents could not have that political will and strong will and courage to take that decision. Before I called that president, just day before yesterday, I was watching one of the channels. The Emir of Kano referred to it, and he said, when he was CBN governor, he made a recommendation to the then president, and that if subsidy was removed at that time, the pains would have been less, and by now we'll have overcome subsidy removal. Because for him, it was fraudulent, and it was not reaching out to the core people that need to be subsidized. But one man came on board. From the first day, from the swearing in, he made just 2 statements. subsidy is gone. For me, that is courage, that is political will. And for some of us, that leadership is critical. I remember when I was asked to take over sport in Edo State. And I got there, it was difficult. When I say difficult, it was really, really, really difficult. I have a situation where I have more staff, more than the players. And it is important to make the sports industry work. And you know Edo State used to be strong when it comes to sports. And now the infrastructures were completely grounded. So all I did was ignore the manpower, face the first challenges of dealing with infrastructure. And we succeeded. My governor gave that backing and we were able to deal with the infrastructure. But the real political will, where it came in, I needed now to deal with the manpower that was more than the number of athletes that they were dealing with. For instance, I give two examples. Bender Assurance and Edo Queen had 318 staffs in government. 318 staff that were in charge of Bender Assurance and Edo Queen. And these 380 staffs managing 85 players. 318 staff managing 85 players. And these players are owed 2 years' salaries. The list is 14 months' salary. But these 318 staff are not owed salaries. Now I needed to deal with it. Because I didn't need 318 staff to deal with 85 players. So where the political will have to come in. And this political will did earn me some pure water being stoned. I was stoned with pure water in the course of taking this strong political will. But I didn't care. And they throw the pure water. I arranged another meeting, and I was sure they were going to throw more pure water. And I arranged my own pure water also. And they throw pure water, I also threw pure water back. And when the pure waters were meeting each other, we now came down to those, let's discuss. And discuss really run away. The more they throw pure water, the more I was coming. And when I'm coming, I refuse to take police, and no police, no SSS, no security. I just come alone. Because we are sportsmen, we can't kill ourselves. But the only thing I did the second time was to also carry my own pure water. So when they throw, I'll throw back. And people were like, how can a deputy governor be throwing pure water? So my own you are seeing, what of their own? But at the end of the day, we came to the conclusion that I just needed 18 staff to run Edo Queens and Bender Insurance. So what happened to the other 300? Should I sack them? All I did was, all of you have to go to another sector, but not in the sports sector. And we were able to move them out of the sports sector to another sector. First, we have to change Sport Council to Sport Commission. I had to go propose a law to the State Assembly to first, the then Commissioner for Youth and Sport is even here. I appealed to him that you now go to we are taking one part of your ministry to somewhere, and we now had a commission. From commission, we were able to do all the reforms that you later saw. And at the end of the day, private sector now saw Edo as a destination. Why? Because we branded all our sport. We decided to domesticate only 15 sports. Only 15 sports out of the 37 we decided to deal with. And today, Olapade and Chiu Diko will agree with me that even in Ogun, when Olapade wanted to be doing so, he couldn't beat us in those 15 sports. Yeah, but so you need a strong political will to deal with every sector. It doesn't mean that there won't be challenges. Challenges are meant to be surmounted, and that is why we have leadership. I also want to talk on the economic part of it. The global sport industry is said to be valued at about 600 billion US dollars. How are we tapping into that particular industry? And that is why, for me, working with the National Sport Commission, I think is what we need now in our sports. Not even when we are still calculating how we are going to be in the World Cup. We need all stakeholders to be on board to be able to deal with this. So, for the global sport industry, valued at about 600 billion US dollars, to continue to grow, countries that have invested in sport infrastructure, talent development, are reaping substantial economic dividends. Morocco came together to have a national conference. That national conference that they had has made Morocco the destination for all sporting activities now. We came back from Morocco recently. We are going back to Morocco again. And we go back to Morocco again in December. And we still go to Morocco again in 2026. They have become the hub of African sports in terms of hosting and in terms of winning. They just won the Under-20 FIFA World Cup. It's not a fluke. It was a deliberate act by the government to say we need to be deliberate. And that is where the political will comes. I will not stop thanking the present President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because when I came into sports and I saw the budget on sports, I was amazed. It shows that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, his vision, renewal vision to redefine and solidify the foundation of this country through the youth, using sport as a vehicle, is intentional. And for us that have been appointed to deal with this, that is where our will was coming. The federations that just got elected, it is important that we come on board, work together to now exercise this will to change sport for the good. We need to all come together to agree that Morocco should not be the only destination for sport in Africa, but Nigeria should be the #1 destination for sport in Africa. Nigeria should be the #1 destination because we have the infrastructure, though decaying because of lack of maintenance. But we need to regain our position, and that we need our strong will, our deliberate will to do. And for me, for us in NIS, we cannot do it alone. We must work with the National Sport Commission, who will definitely lead. We need to also work with the Federation for us to achieve this. So for us, we have the will. In NIS, and with what I've seen so far, working with the Sports Commission Chairman and the Director General, somebody told me, if Shehu Diko is the Chairman of Sport Commission today, Olapade is the Director General of Sport Commission today, and you, Philip, DG, NIS, if we don't get sports right, then it will be difficult. So, for me, that is a clear message. First, adopting the fact that these three gentlemen are able to handle sport in Nigeria. Then the onus now is on the three of us and the federations to actually justify this confidence that Nigerians believe. Because the man that made that statement is not just ordinary Nigeria. It was from his heart that was making the statement. That's where the political will come in. The National Assembly has been very helpful. The National Assembly have been very helpful. And they have been also the Speaker, the Sportman, the Senate President, wife. I don't know about the Senate President, but the Senate President's wife a very, very committed sports woman, even having an academy. So it is time for Nigeria to actually take our position in the Committee of Faith. Then, institutionalization. It is critical also for us to make sure that whatever we are doing, we institutionalize it. Because Shehu Diko will go one day, Olapade will go, Philip Shagu will go. But when these institutions and the reform that we are already pursuing are institutionalized, obviously, those that will come after us will not have any choice but than to follow suit. Also, the world is driven by technology now. Like the chairman said, for us to go and say anything negative or positive about any narrative in sport, we need to check our data. We must do investigation. It is critical. For me, while I was in Edo, from House of Assembly to Deputy Governor, every 20th of every year, I had a program where I award journalists that distinguish themselves. How? Investigative journalist of the year. We were always doing that. Why I did that is we need to actually put the narrative in proper perspective, because you are supposed to inform, not deform the public in terms of information. So when you inform them negatively, they go with that negative impression. But when you inform them positively, they also go with that positive narrative. But our nation at this stage, we will need progressive investigative journalism before our stories are put out. So I'm joining the chairman to say, let's check properly. And we should also be sensational and know when to be sensational. This period that we are all struggling to go to World Cup, every story should be geared towards positivity. Because sport is the only thing that unites us. Sport does not know Muslim. Sport does not know Christian. Neither does sport know a Yoruba or an Hausa man or an Isako man. So please, I'm also joining the chairman to say, let's be investigative in our reportage and to help. As we celebrate 60 years of the Sport Writers Association, I think this is the time for us to have a retreat and check how we have fared in the past 60 years and how we want to reshape the next 60 years. In conclusion, esteemed members of Swan, distinguished guests, I conclude, let me emphasize that the political will is not abstract concept, but a practical necessity for national development. It is a missing link between Nigerian economic potentials and the realization of potentials. In the sports sector, political will can transform our natural athletes' talent into global dominance, creating economic opportunity for millions of youth and projects and Nigeria. As the National Institute for Sport, we are embarking on a transformative agenda. We have a program for NIS that will last for 10 years. And our quest is to challenge our coaches and our elite athletes towards bringing their best for our nation. Sport has gone beyond a social activity. Sport now is business. How we tap into the 600 billion economy is in our hands. The Nigeria Sport Writers Association has a role to play in making this thing actualize through their positive investigative reportage and also their contribution in their investigation of what to do and how to go about. Their role should be more of a police officer that is monitoring and also helping to make sure that those that need to be arrested are arrested at the right time, and those that need to be set free are free at the right time. As you mark 60 years of impactful journalism, I challenge you to intensify your role as a catalyst for political will. Your pen and microphones are not mere toys for reporting. They are instruments for national development. The missing link of political will is within our grasp. Let us seize it together for Nigeria of our dream. Thank you for having me, and I congratulate the Sport Writers Association of Nigeria and by the grace of God together, sports in Nigeria back, and Nigeria will take its rightful place in the Committee of Nations. Thank you, and God bless all of us.
That clap for me is not enough. Please jam your hands ceaselessly. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Comrade Philip Schreiber, the DG of the National Institute for Sports and the former Deputy Governor of Edo State of Nigeria. Thank you so very much. The missing link, trying to redirect the media and the... Ladies and gentlemen, let me do a quick few recognitions. First, we have in our midst Barrister Dr. Paul Ede, and board member and president of RSDF, Rata Sports Development Foundation. Please put your hands together for Barrister Paul Ede. A very passionate sportsman, not just only in Benue State or women's sports, but one who cares so much about the development of the round letter game. Barrister Paul, you're most and highly welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. Also, we have in our midst a man with a royal blue blood in him, His Excellency District Head of Channel, I hope I got it right, in Mangu Local Government Area of Plateau State, a former chairman of the National Sports Commission then, and a former volleyball player. He was also a former DG Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Immigrations and Correctional Service. The one and only Malam Al-Hassan Yakmud. Please, His Excellency, a round of applause for you. All right. Already in our midst from the National Sports Commission is the Director, Media and Publicity, Mrs. Kende Ajayi. Madam. Put your hands together for her. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you so very much. And also joining us, the Secretary General of the Nigeria Football Federation, the one I call utility player. He's also a member of Swan by fellowship. Please, ladies and gentlemen, let's jam our hands together for Dr. Mohammed Sanusi. Please clap for him. Dr. Sanusi, you're most welcome. In our midst, a member of the podium committee, ex-player, ex-international, Mr. Yusuf Ali. Please put your hands together for him. All right, it's time for us to call our next speaker, wife of the Senate President.
Mrs. Martina Ekong Samson, the wife of Senator Ekong Samson, representing Akwa Ibom South in the National Assembly. Here for the wife of the President of the Senate, Mrs. Ekaite Norma Goswell Akwabi. I'm only representing her, and I'm not Mrs. Ekaite. Thank you so much. The Chairman, National Sport Commission, Madam Shehu Diko. The DG, National Sport Commission, Dr. Bukola. The DG, National Institute for Sport, His Excellency Comrade Philip Schreiber. The National President, Sport Writers Association of Nigeria, Swan, Comrade Isaiah Benjamin, and his leadership. Invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. I am here to present a paper titled Engaging the Girl Child Through Sports Empowerment. Her Excellency would have loved to be here herself, but due to some unforeseen involvement and engagement, she had to call and ask me to stand in for her. She had put up this paper thinking that she'll be here herself to present it to the House. But notwithstanding, she's here in spirit because she actually wanted to be here. So I'll just go ahead and read what she has put together for this anniversary. Lecture by Her Excellency Dr. Mrs. Unoma Ekaite Akwabi, wife of the President of the Senate, Federal Republic of Nigeria, as the guest speaker, Swan's 60th Diamond Anniversary Lecture, Moshood Abiola Stadium, Abuja. Let me begin by saying what an incredible honor it is to stand before you at this moment in history as Swan celebrates 60 years of excellence, commitment, and courage. For 6 decades, you have not only reported sports, you have told the story of a nation, our struggles, our victories, our heartbreaks, and our hope. And hope is what brings us together today. Hope for our daughters, our young girls, and the future of Nigeria through the transformative power of sports. When I first saw the term, engaging the girl child through sports empowerment, it struck me deeply because I know that behind every Nigerian girl's smile, there's a story of strength waiting to be told. A story of resilience, of potential, and sometimes of unstepped dreams. I want us to imagine, just for a moment, what would happen if every girl in Nigeria was given the same opportunity to play, to compete, to lead, and to believe that she can. Sports is not just winning medals. It is about character. It is about confidence. It is about learning how to fall and rise again. And isn't that the story of Nigeria itself? When a girl picks up a ball, or ties her sneakers, or steps onto a track, she's not just learning to run faster or jump higher. She's learning to trust herself, to believe that her body, her mind, and her spirits are powerful. She's learning that she belongs in space where strength and strength are separated, and that believe that sense of belonging changes everything. All around the world, we have seen what happens when societies invest in their girls through sports. In the United States, programs that target young girls in undeserved communities have cut the birth rates and increased college attendance. In Spain, women's football has grown into one of the most watched leagues in Europe. And in Australia, Where girls were once discouraged from contact sports, female participation has tripled in less than a decade. These are not just statistics, they are proof that when you give a girl a chance to play, lead. When you let her compete, she learns to conquer fear. When you believe in her, she learns to believe in herself. And that is the power of sport empowerment. Here in Nigeria, we have seen flashes of that same brilliance. The Super Falcons have been the pride of Africa. Fierce, determined, unstoppable. They have carried a green and white flag into every corner of the world, showing that Nigerian women can match anyone, anywhere. Our Deep Tiger basketball team have risen above the odds to dominate African Championship and earn global respect. Our track queens, from Chioma Ajunwa, who made history with Nigeria's first Olympic gold in 1996, to Toby Amusa, who made the world stand still with her record-breaking hurdles performance, have proven that when Nigerian women rise, the world takes notice. And everyone, thank you. And every one of these women started as a girl, somewhere in Lagos or Enugu or in Uyo, with a dream that was often bigger than her circumstances. They remind us that greatness does not depend on gender, opportunity, but face the truth. Too many Nigerian girls still lack these opportunities. In too many schools, girls have no access to sports, fields, and facilities. In too many communities, they are told that sports are not for them. In too many homes, girls are burdened with expectations that leave little room for personal growth or physical freedom. We lose potential every time a young girl is told to sit on the sideline while others play. That must change. Empowering the girl child through sport means more than giving her a ball or a jersey. It means changing mindsets in families, in schools, in communities. It means teaching parents that sports can help their daughters learn discipline and confidence. It means convincing leaders that girls deserve equal funding, equal courage, and equal celebration. It means building a society that sees girls not as fragile, but as formidable. Let me tell you a true story that stays with me, one that captures the power of what we are talking about. In the rugged hills of West Pokot, Kenya, a barefoot girl named Telga Lorepe used to run 10 kilometers to school and another 10 kilometers back home every day. Her father warned that running voice. Her neighbors laughed at her dusty feet and torn uniform. But Telga kept running, not for medals, but for freedom. One day, a coach from the Kenyan Athletic Federation spotted her during a local race and invited her to train. She arrived at camp without shoes, without proper clothes, without sports, but she carried a heart full of fire. Years later, Telga Lorepe made history as the first African woman to win the New York City Marathon. She broke world records, represented her country in the Olympics, and became the symbol of endurance and grace. Yet, she did not stop there. She went back to her community to build peace, using running to unite warring tribes. and to mentor young girls. Today, through the Telga Luripos Peace Foundation, she empowers thousands of girls across East Africa. That is the power of sports empowerment. It is not just about medals, it's about transformation. It's about creating ripples of possibility that spreads across families, communities, and generations. As we celebrate Swan's Diamond Jubilee, I want to speak directly to you, our sports journalists, our storytellers. You have the power to shape how the nation sees its daughters. The stories you tell can inspire millions. When you give space to the girl who trains in the rain, when you highlight the struggles and victories of our women athletes, you make it possible for another little girl to dream. Use your words and your platforms to build a narrative that celebrates not only men in sports, but women and girls too. Representation matters, and your words can build bridges of belief. I also want to challenge corporate Nigeria. Sports empowerment cannot and should not be left to government alone. We need our private sector, our banks, telecom companies, oil and gas firms, and manufacturing giants to see sports as a vital investment in our future. Support schools, sports programs, support girls, tournaments, build local facilities, fund scholarships. Because when you invest in girls' sports, you are not just funding play, you are fueling progress. You are creating confident young women who will become innovators, entrepreneurs, leaders, and change makers. And I promise you, the return on that investment is immeasurable. As we look towards the future, we must remember that engaging the girl child through sports is not just a goal, it is a duty. It is about fairness, it is about freedom. It is about unlocking the full potential of half of our population. If we give our girls the same chance we give our boys, if we teach them to run, to fight, to believe, then we are not just raising athletes, we are raising leaders, mothers, teachers, journalists, and citizens who will move this nation forward. So let us be a generation that finally levels the playing field. Let us build a Nigeria where no girl's dream is dismissed, where her talent is nurtured, and where her victory is celebrated as a victory for all. Because when Nigerian girls rise, Nigeria rises with them. Thank you. God bless the Sports Writers Association of Nigeria. God bless our athletes. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
Please, ladies and gentlemen, please, let's have one more time. Very interesting topic, and I think she did plenty justice to it. All right, again, do a quick few introductions. Mr. Yusuf Ali is the chairman, Elite Development and Podium Stand. We'll say once again, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. Kola Daniel Adeyanju, I had to add the third name because he's a colleague, a very passionate colleague, one who has served about 2 ministers. He's now eating on the higher table than most of us. We still envy him and wish him well, and wish he grows from height to height. And he is the special assistant to media with the DG, the office of the DG at the National Sports Commission. Mr. Colin Daniel, you're most welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you very much. We also have here quickly the president of the Unified Supporters Club of Nigeria, Prince Vincent Okumaga, in our midst. Prince Vincent, where you stand up for recognition, please. Please quickly stand for recognition. And we have to keep the best for the last, perhaps. It's not the last, but he's a man, I call it indefatigable. He is an enigma, very vibrant. Perhaps you call him the engine room of the NSC. Before now, we were trying to understand the function of the DG of the NSC and the chairman of the NSC. But at a point, we discovered that one cannot work without the other. But that one had to be the de facto to ensure that proper organization is also done. We want to thank him for his patience. Imagine keeping the DG to speak last at this point, one of our key speakers. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me clap for him in the biggest fashion. DG, apologies for keeping you waiting and sitting. I call him he's been a friend and a big motivator and a big DG, sir. It's your turn to spark.
In Yoruba, we call it Your Excellency, former Deputy Governor of Edo State, my friend, my brother, we have one thing in common. We are not like Shehu Diko. While Shehu Diko will sit quiet, we will go to war and use the political will. But we complement one another alongside Madam Shehu Diko. I recognize Her Excellency, ably represented. Thank you very much for that presentation on the girl child. The President of Swan, my brother, thank you for all the support you've been giving to us. Let me recognize especially Your Royal Majesty, my leader, my humble gentleman, like we address each other, Malam Alazan Yakmut. I recognize especially my colleagues, the General Secretary of the NFF, and directors here present, past and present, because I see Dr. Aluko seated. Let me especially recognize my other leader, Malam Nasser Ilo, who has been a huge tutor to Madam Shehu Diko and I'm sure DG Philip Shuaibu should go closer to him to learn some strategy from him. And of course, all presidents are present here. Ladies and gentlemen of the media and Swan. There's a way I always start my story whenever I'm called to present a paper. I like to do an icebreaker because people have been talking, it's looking too serious and so I came with 100,000 naira only for Swan to do an icebreaker with your permission, Mr. President. For 50,000 naira, only Swan. If you know the answer, just raise up your hand. There's something that comes around twice every week, but only comes around once every year. What is it? No, none of my staff, because I already gave you the expert. Swan. Yes, ma'am. 50,000. Give it to her. The letter E comes twice every week and once every year. Are people still confused? W-E-E-K every week, twice. Year, Y-E-A-R, once, the letter E. Where's the other 50,000 naira? Bring it. Please clap for the lady. Hurry up now. The second redo. how to give this money out. Only Swan. If you want it. Only Swan. Okay. Now the trick is this. People were there, she wanted it, she came for it. Clap for her. Let me first of all start by congratulating Swan for this 60th.
There is God who.
I said if you want it, it's here. She came for it, they were raising their hands up. You must be a go-getter, you must go and grab. Don't wait. There's nothing like luck. It's the preparation for the opportunity and the political will to go get it. Thank you very much. I congratulate you, Mr. President, and all Swan members for this 60th year anniversary. And also especially thank you for choosing me to speak on sports media as a catalyst for advancing national economy. I must apologize to you because I've sort of changed it from catalyst to a springboard. Because at times, talking about something being a catalyst is a scientific reaction to something that may leave you lethargic or static. But as a springboard to national economy. And people will start wondering, laymen will start wondering, when you say media, this is very vague. Because in today's world, the media has been very much expanded. And I know the cliche that will be on the minds of so many people will be reportage. What Madam Shehu spoke about earlier on, how we do not demote or reduce the brand of sports through our effort as journalists, since we have celebrated Swan. But when you speak to it as a springboard towards national economy, it cannot be just reportage. It cannot just be about journalism. There are various factors that must come with it. Broadcasting, advertisement, streaming, brand positioning, communication. All of that put together has shown that without the biggest contributor to any national economy today is the media. In sports, in politics, in oil and gas, media, you are losing tons of billions of naira. So we need the media. Start point has to be how we must look at broadcasting and what it has done to so many great sporting nations, but also wealthy nations. A recent research showed that every year in the US, $28 billion comes only from broadcast. The Premier League we all scream about gets about $4 billion pounds every year, just from broadcasting. And if broadcasting is the biggest tool that the media is utilizing today to reach out to billions of people, whether in cricket that the Indians are leveraging on, or football that the English are leveraging on, or rugby that the South Africans have been made to become a multi-billion-dollar business, it is because broadcast is taken very seriously. But let me say something I discovered when I was doing my research for this. It's not bad news for Nigeria. Do you know that even in Nigeria, through broadcast, billions are being realized every year in sports and contributing to the tax situation of our country, contributing to the GDP, and of course, the wealth of the country. And I was shocked to see a 2018 KPMG report that said, as of 2018, through broadcast, the Nigerian economy was gaining from sports over 38 billion every year, captured data by KPMG. Now, what does that mean for us as sports businessmen and women? The Deputy Governor, DG, and I spoke to the fact that sport is a huge business. But sport cannot be a business in isolation if it's not contributing to the naira and kobo that goes into the coffers of government. It becomes a successful entity when we are able to capture the numbers efficiently and effectively as to how the country is benefiting from it. Hence, I came with the good news that as practitioners, as stakeholders in Nigeria, don't fret, because through broadcasting, we are contributing a huge sum to the economy of this country. But it also goes into advertisement. Mr. Emeka, my friend and brother from South Africa, would agree with me that you cannot broadcast in isolation because it is woven, it is knitted to adverts, commercials, as the Americans would call it. The Super Bowl is the biggest example we know, where a 5-second advert will bring in almost $10 to $15 million. Ako, am I correct? But guess what that has also done for the Nigerian economy? Do you know that the biggest advertising enclave today in Nigeria is sport betting? Sport betting. And through Swan, through broadcasting, through adverts, Nigeria and Nigerians are contributing over $12 billion annually to the economy of this country through sport betting, just on adverts alone, the media. Because the underlying factor here is the media, and the role the media is playing in putting so much money in the coffers of government, and by extension, in our pockets, and by extension, looking after the girl child through programs, no, really and truly, through programs that are dedicated to the girl child, but of course, to make Abiola or Detola happy, looking after the boy child too. Because in the final analysis, the money that is generated through adverts, through broadcasting, through sports, is energizing the economy without us knowing as much. But this is a global phenomenon. In Australia, it has been said clearly that sports, especially cricket, contributes maybe number 3 or 4 to other entities in their economy. For those who know the Ashes, whenever the Ashes is to be played in Australia, not England, because the Ashes is always everywhere, how do you sell your tickets if the chances of broadcasting this to millions of people and billions of people is not spoken to by you, the media? So, without taking you too far and boring you, you would agree with me that when people say sport is not a contributor to the GDP of Nigeria, for example, that they are wrong. Because we need to now start looking at the induced job creation through sports media. We need to look at the direct sports job creations through sports media. We need to look at the reach of the media and how beyond the feel-good factor that it gives to us is putting money in the pockets of indigent people. And that takes me to streaming. You cannot broadcast or advertise or report, do your reportage successfully into this tech world without streaming. And streaming again has shown from research, KPMG reports, international reports, that not one country that is involved in sports today that is not benefiting economically from sports streaming. That is the media. That is the media. So, I am saying today, Mr. President, that you need to broaden your scope as Swan. You need to start talking to government that your contribution to the economy of this country is beyond what people are looking at. Because I have seen that through research, that so much money is coming through the media towards helping the economy of our country and so many other countries to grow. But we must ask ourselves, if we have streaming, we have broadcast, we have adverts, we have reportage, what is our responsibility as journalists of this in order to increase the naira and kobo, in our own case in Nigeria, comes into the economy? I think the chairman of the NSC and my dear brother, the DG of NI, spoke to it. And I want to speak to it. But before I speak to it, I'll tell you a story. A Buddhist priest was talking to a congregation like this. And he said, a lady was walking towards the door and had a cup of coffee. And as she approached the door, a man bumped into her and the coffee spilled on her. He asked the crowd, whose fault was it? As I'm asking you now, whose fault was it? Huh? The man. I will tell you the answer at the end of my presentation as I start to wrap up. I said, are we prepared to make sports media a crude oil in Nigeria? Do we have the capacity to make sports media a crude oil in Nigeria? Of course we do. And so from the figures I'm giving to you, through a concerted effort of collaboration, of genuineness from practitioners, we can turn sports around. Because if Shehu Diko, Philip Shuaibu and Bukola Okpade decides to go to ZAC Adedeji to ask for a 2% or even tax rebate on sports sponsorship, we should be able to confidently, through strong political power, be able to say to him, we are contributing more in tax contribution than those that have been given credit in the past. But if the week we are about to go there, a story comes out to call Shehu Diko, myself and Philip Shuaibu thieves, it reduces the political will that Philip Shuaibu was talking about. It stops us from going to advertise sports to those who have the money, and it affects you as media practitioners. We all are tied within the aprons. Our lives, our strategies must align, and it must align positively. Ladies and gentlemen, the answer to that question aligns with what I just said. The Buddhist priest said it was the fault of the woman. And he explained. He said, we all carry a cup of coffees every day. Dr. Sanusi carries a cup of coffee of how Super Eagles must qualify for the World Cup. I carry the cup of coffee of how the engine of the NSC must be reorganized, reinvigorated, and re-advertised. Philip Shuaibu carries the engine of how the NIS must be taken from the obscurity it has become to the vibrant nature it is today. Swan president carries a cup of coffee of respectable, responsive, and responsible reportage. The question is, what responsibility what responsibility do you want to have in your cup of tea? If you decide today that what we all want in our cup of tea is wealth, is good health, beyond it to be respected by our country as a contributor to the GDP of this country, then we must carry that cup of coffee with one another. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to again special the president of Swan. I see light at the end of the tunnel. I know the end of the tunnel is extremely bright. We can only succeed if we do the right things at the right time, at all times. God bless you.
Please keep clapping until he sits. Please help me clap more and more in the fatigable NG Room Brain Box National Sports Commission. Honorable Bukola Olopade, thought-provoking. Please, one more time, ladies and gentlemen, your hands. Thank you so much for that speech. Is actually thought-provoking. We almost have learned a lesson too, listening to him. Just a quick reminder before I call on the next speaker. Those who will be part of discussions here today, our panel of discussants, Barrister Francis Obi, Badminton President, Dr. Nekan Kema Nibeze, the Chief Operating Officer, AFN. She will be the moderator. Otumba Olusegun Ronsewe, the President of Golf Federation of Nigeria, Aisha Falade, who will be presenting the paper, and that will be done by Itoro Jimmy. Not forgetting Kelechi on the way, our Swan chairman in the FCT and ace broadcaster. He will be part of those to talk. Please pardon me, I have just been corrected by my very good friend and brother, Chief Dr. Barrister Paul Ede, board member, but please let's clap for him one more time. A Congress member and chairman of the Benue State Football Association. Please let's put our hands together for him. Thank you very much, Barrister Paul Ede. And let's quickly recognize the presence of Ilyas Idris from Guso. Ilyas Idris Guso, the Director of Information and Services, former Swan Chairman at UJ Zamfara Council. I'm managing a whole lot of things in Zamfara State, including printing publications and all that. Thank you very much. You're most welcome to this August occasion happening in the month of October. And next, I have the pleasure and honor to invite all the way from South Africa for the next paper, a veteran journalist, Mr. Meka Enyadike. He will be speaking on championing ethical reporting in sports media. And he has 10 minutes to do justice to this topic. Please, Emeka Enyadike is also a consultant, media consultant, and he does that so well. I remember, I can't recall vividly, he had done that many times with the Nigerian National League. Please, ladies and gentlemen, if your hands are not too busy, let's clap for Mr. Emeka Enyadike. Keep clapping until he gets to my desk. Thank you very much. Keep clapping for him. Don't stop, please. Don't stop. 10 minutes. Thank you very much, Mr. Mega.
Thank you very much. Sometimes I don't know if I need to use the mic or I can speak without the mic. After more than 5 years of broadcasting, when I was a young kid, I wasn't a young kid then, before I went to national TV. I used to mimic. That's what I know. But let me start by, you said 10 minutes, okay? I have 10 minutes. Yes, I've spoken for 1 hour. I have 10 minutes. I'm going to use that 10 minutes to recognize everybody here. The chairman in absentia, DG. Sometimes when I'm in these formal functions, especially in sports, I've been in sports so long that it's a bit difficult for me sometimes to start doing protocol. Even the DG of the NIS, we met a few years ago at a football game. Bukola, we had a lot of conversations, and I'm glad that he's here. What I'm very happy about now is, seeing that the kind of people that are in sports. And Mr. President of Swan, thank you very much. Al Hassan, all the presidents here. Francis, he's been avoiding me for a long time, but God has brought him here. Pleasure to meet you in person. Because one thing, I'm a teacher. People know me. If I ask people here now to talk about me, some people will say that I'm just a journalist. Gladys, I've been a journalist all my life. I think I probably have been a journalist since 1978. And then I ran into someone at Frankfurt Airport who saw me and they said, "Good afternoon, sir." And this guy had white hair. I said, "Good afternoon, sir." I looked at him and I'm like, "Why are you telling me good afternoon, sir?" He said, "Well, because he grew up in Port Harcourt and he used to watch a show that was started in 1993 called Sports Panorama. And he was a little boy and he used to sit beside his dad to watch it. And he's trying to wonder if, it's a movie he's watched called Benjamin Button, if I'm aging backwards." Because he said, you don't have do you dye your hair or something? I'm very excited to be here at this function for 2 reasons. One, being Nigerian and being part of this community. The second one is seeing the changes that are happening and the kind of people that I ran into, Comrade Shaibu at the Hilton the other day. I was very excited to see him, and I walked up to him, if you remember me. So, I was asked to speak about championing ethical reporting. And I'm so excited because this week is a very special week for 2 reasons. Number one, it's the 60th anniversary of celebration. It was 60 years last year, we're celebrating it this year. So, which means that Swan is just some years older than me. But my professor at the University of Bayreuth in Germany asked me one time how old I was because I told him about what Germany did in the 1954 World Cup. And he said, even he is a German, he doesn't know. Because Germany beats Hungary. For those of you who study history, beat Hungary 3-2 in the finals. But Hungary had beaten them by some margin earlier in that same World Cup. But something happened during the finals. Hungary had Ferenc Puskás. You might know about Puskás. Ferenc Puskás. And Puskás was leading the German team. He was injured. And Hungary scored 2 goals. And then at halftime, because it was raining, new boots had been created by Adidas, which had studs. And they put that there. The Hungarians didn't have it. A lot of people don't know, because the thing is, why Professor Waracek in Germany was asking me, how do you know these things? And you're not even German. Because you have to read. When there was no internet, I used to read. My Port Harcourt River Swan chairman is here, he will tell you. before ever there was internet, on TV I would talk about rugby, I'll talk about anything. And the only way is read the encyclopedia. Now there's social media, so there's Google. We started reporting when there was no Google. There was nowhere for us to make any reference. When I went to NTA for the World Cup in '94, after doing one program, all the people would go to Atule Evandi and Tunde Orebi and say, please don't put us with that boy. Late Dikina Ayoshitelu came to me and said, please, how do you know that I open my bag? I had like tons of Shoot magazine and all sorts of things. I said, Baba, go and read this before you come tomorrow. So my question is to all my friends and colleagues who are journalists here, how do you become the best sports journalist? Because sometimes when I read Nigerian publications, I don't know if I'm reading sports journalism, because there's so much interest. They report more on Premier League and Champions League and everything that is happening there than they care about what's happening in Nigeria. And the question is, we are a country of 200 million people. Nigerians are probably the most gifted sports people. And there's something that's the most important element of sports today is data. If you do your analysis, there's more Nigerians playing American football, and we don't even play it here. There's more Nigerians playing American football. Nigerians are so good that, you know, we're filled up in that whole space. You know what? I'm happy that my friend Uche Odozo has been elected the president of baseball, Uche stands up for recognition of baseball for the whole of Africa. Uche was a baseball player, played for Rambo Mets, which was very close to my office in Johannesburg. Before his election, we went together there. We were the only two black people, a couple of other people, the rest of people were white people. And they're looking at him, this guy is running for presidency. But you know, because everyone knows me, I'm from Super Sport, they didn't think about me being Nigerian. But I'm happy that we have it. Just imagine the first Nigerian player that gets into baseball should be earning $40 million. That's how big it is. Well, our journalists spend so much time reporting about football that they don't even care. In this stadium, there could be tennis going on and they're not there. But if there's football, even if it is Spanish old men coming to run around here, they will fill up the place. You know? So the other question is, how do you earn a decent living? I mean, what do I mean by an ethical sports journalist? It just means being a sports journalist in the sense of the word. Being a sports journalist, you are there. Your first job is to hold these gentlemen accountable. Hold them accountable. But we don't do that enough. And that's why in the last couple of days I've been very, very unhappy with what has happened. Because you've allowed people who call themselves influencers to take over your job. They're the ones who are writing about NFF and millions. Look, I'm not the secretary. I spent my whole career, I think I made my name by being very critical of the NFA and being critical of the National Sports Commission. I challenged Solomon Akiga one time when he said, you know, you cannot, you know, if you're playing abroad. In fact, there was something he said which had to do with players should be for Nigeria, who should be for Nigeria. And I challenged every minister that has ever been here. Why? Because that is my job. Anybody in Nigeria who has held any position knows that if I'm on TV, in fact, the funniest thing, I'm very good friends with Fania Amontige. But I remember in 1995 when he was coach of the Flying Eagles, and there was